Well, good morning, family, and happy Thanksgiving to all those who celebrate. If you do not celebrate Thanksgiving, enjoy the day with your family and friends. But let's just dive right into the news that concerns our Baltimore Ravens. You heard of the saying, I'm sure, you don't know what you got until it's gone. Well, that's how I'm feeling about one Roquan Smith. Prior to last week's game, without him, I kind of took Roquan Smith for granted this season because he hasn't been playing up to the level that he was last year. And, I've heard people call him Sloquan Smith or, he's Sloquan. But truth be told, without him last week, I think we did a pretty good job, but I still missed Roquan Smith. He leads our team in total tackles. He has 110 total tackles through 11 games. And behind him is Kyle Hamilton with 84 tackles, having played 12 games. So yes, there is a difference when Roquan Smith is not on the field, especially because we know that he is very important to helping stop the run. He is that run stuffing linebacker that we have and that we can count on. Now, granted, I don't want to see him dropping into coverage because he's just not a really good cover linebacker, but certainly he is there to really make sure that these running backs do not get past the second line of defense. I know a huge shout out goes out to Malik Harrison because he did an amazing job of holding down the fort, stepping up this past week in Roquan Smith's absence. Also stepped up is Kyle Hamilton. Now, one can say Kyle has always kind of stepped up. I mean, stepped up in the sense of he wore the green dot this week. Now, moving forward, let me know, leave a comment down below and let me know, do you think that they should rotate the green dot between Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton, or should we just keep Roquan Smith as the primary green dot, the person who calls the defensive plays or articulates the defensive plays as they are called by the defensive coordinator, or should we mix it up a little bit and give them both an opportunity to wear the green dot moving forward? I think for continuity's sake, I prefer keeping it with Roquan Smith. If he's healthy and if he's playing, let it stay with one person. However, I do see the benefit in changing it up a bit because you never know if one player is going to be absent. That way, you don't have to be so concerned or so worried if another player can step up and really wear the green dot and do it effectively. So it was certainly good to see that Roquan Smith returned to practice, even on a limited basis today, because we know that hamstring injuries are tricky. Should Roquan Smith play this upcoming Sunday against the Eagles? I'm on the fence about it. Of course, I want him on the field because his presence, as I mentioned, is certainly felt when he's not there. But on the other hand, I would much rather rest him if it means we don't re-aggravate an injury because we will need Roquan Smith during the latter half of the season, moving into the postseason. The Baltimore Ravens also received another piece of really good news, and that is the return of interior D lineman Michael Pierce. We know that he has been on injured reserve. However, today begins the 21-day period that the Ravens have now to activate him to the active roster. We know that Michael Pierce had a calf injury that sidelined him for the last few weeks, but just in the nick of time, it looks like there's a possibility that he might be back this week. It would be wonderful to have both Michael Pierce and Roquan Smith back for this upcoming game against the Eagles because we know that our Baltimore Ravens have the daunting task of trying to stop or at least, at a very minimum, slow down Saquon Barkley, who presently leads the NFL in rushing yards with 1,392 yards. Right behind him is our guy. That's right, Derrick Henry with 1,325 rushing yards. So what we need to do this upcoming week, we need to leave Derrick Henry on the field. Okay, I'm sorry. I know that's for the preview game. When I preview the game, come back in a couple of days. But just side note, Ravens, just leave Derrick Henry on the field this upcoming week against the Eagles. Okay? So that's the good news in terms of where the Baltimore Ravens stand ahead of this upcoming matchup. And for me, I would really like to see both of them back, only if they are as close to healthy as they can be given their respective injuries. At this point in the season, no player is really fully healthy, but you want them as healthy as they can be. And also to make sure or to be confident or comfortable knowing that we are not going to have any type of setback if we bring them back right now. I don't want to rush them, but if they are ready and they're medically cleared and they're physically full body able to go, let's bring them because we certainly need them. And with the good news comes the not so good news. There were a couple of names that appeared on yesterday's injury report that I was unaware of. The first of which was Charlie Kolar, who suffered a broken arm in Monday night's game. And despite his injury, he wrapped himself up and came back and continued to play in the game. I don't think we are going to see Charlie Kolar for several weeks, but and I know that's going to be a huge loss for us because even Lamar mentioned it yesterday in his presser that, hey, Charlie Kolar has been a big part of this offense, not just this year, but previous years as well. He is. Talk about bringing in an extra body for blocking purposes, especially when the O-line is having their struggles, as we have seen them do. This is a player who we could really depend on for bringing in for his blocking ability. Not only that, his catching, pass catching is there too. So he is a huge loss for us. But we are confident and comfortable in Mark Andrews. And this now means to me, Isaiah Likely will have to kind of be brought back in to this offensive system because he's been pretty quiet the last couple of games. Another name that appeared on the injury report from yesterday was Kyle Van Noy. He suffered a hamstring and neck injury, and he did not practice yesterday. Now, that one was a bit of a shocker to me, and we know that Kyle Van Noy is a little bit older, so the body might take a little bit more time to heal, and I don't know this extent or the severity of his injury, but he did not practice yesterday. Not sure if the Ravens are holding practice today, but we'll keep an eye on him to see if when they do resume practice, if he actually returns. Because if he doesn't, that brings me to my next question. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you think about this one. Is David Ojabo going to be a healthy scratch? Especially if we do not have Kyle Van Noy in Sunday's game. Now, I know David Ojabo has not really contributed a whole lot this season. He's played 8 games, has 5 tackles and 1 sack, but if there's a possibility that Kyle Van Noy might not play in this upcoming game, we will certainly need to see the likes of David Ojabo this game because, somebody has to be out there to help my guy Odafe Oweh. He can't do it all by himself. And let me take 2.5 to say that if you are enjoying this video, please make sure to give me a great big thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Please turn on your post notifications so that you are notified when I release content on this channel. Another player who made his way to the injury report is interior D lineman Travis Jones. We know that he's been dealing with an ankle injury for the last few weeks, and I appreciate his grit and his determination to get back on the field and play through it. We will certainly need our interior D linemen and our linebackers to ensure that we are getting pressure up the middle and we're able to stop the run. A couple of other names who made their way to the injury report: Sanusi Kane at safety. We really haven't seen a whole lot of him at safety. We've seen him primarily on special teams, and that's just been about it. And the other one is Arthur Marlette, cornerback. He's been okay. And then when he does play okay, he's hit or miss because then the next time you blink, he's injured. And finally, in other news around the NFL, backup quarterback Daniel Jones signed with the Minnesota Vikings. We know that earlier this week he was released from the Giants, and now he's found a new home. There was talks or thoughts or rumors were swirling that the Baltimore Ravens and the Vikings seem to be top contenders for him in terms of where he'd like to land. But he made his decision and he decided to go with the Minnesota Vikings. So kudos to him. Good for him. He leaves a team that is just horrible, doing terrible this year in the Giants, and now he goes to immediately a playoff contending team. So congrats to him. It wasn't meant to be for him to be a Raven. I know some people were on X and social media saying, yes, let's go get Daniel Jones to back up Lamar Jackson, but we can put that to rest right now because, next year he'll want a starting role somewhere. He's only going to want to be a backup for so long. I know he's had a very checkered past with his time in New York, but you never know. Given an opportunity in another environment, another coaching system, another team, it can do worlds of good for a player. So we'll see how he does if he gets any playing time this year with the Minnesota Vikings. Well, family, that is all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I will see you back very soon, probably tomorrow night or Saturday night, where I will come on live and preview the upcoming game against the Eagles. Until then, you take care and stay safe. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and always remember, go Ravens. God bless.